Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Unlovable Business Podcast. I am your host, Mercy Baraka, and today was not supposed to be recording day. Yesterday, I recorded an episode with a guest, and the conversation was, I would say, magnetic, and we really enjoyed talking about finding the balance between masculine and feminine energies in business. She was struggling a little bit with her internet connection, and it was only after we finished recording that I realized her side of the audio is just unusable. I was editing the episode because I felt like, okay, fine, I'm just gonna cut out the parts where the audio is so bad you cannot hear anything, and try to keep the parts where the quality is better and where we can hear what she's saying, even if we're just listening. But the point was that I spent, I think, about 3 hours editing, and I got to a point where I felt like, nope, I cannot. It was more than an hour long episode, and I only got to minute 20 during these first 3 hours. So I got really angry at my editing software too. But short story long, because that's how I do it here. I asked her if we could do a take two and re-record the episode as much as we can. Of course, it's very difficult to capture the vibes that we had, and almost like, because this is also part of us getting to know each other. The stories she shared with me were things I never heard before, but we agreed that we would meet next week again and give it another go. And it just got me wondering that I have this schedule set up in my head. No one's forcing me to keep to the schedule but myself. And I feel like I've been pretty consistent with releasing videos. I'm trying to find a rhythm that fits me and the way I work as best as possible. Yesterday, I just got into this headspace where I felt torn. I wasn't sure if I should then completely give up on releasing anything this week, or instead, should I just come here, record a solo episode, and then, like do something in between. And it felt really ironic because I've been contemplating what are the things that I do actually for myself and for the sake of my business, and what are the things I'm doing because I have this sort of learned behavior on how to do things and how to stick to them. And I like to now set not super ambitious goals for myself, but make sure that I meet those goals. Otherwise, I feel terrible about myself. I guess this is also part of being in the starting up phase of your company, that you're just trying to put energy in. You're experimenting where to put that energy and where to be ruthless with your deadlines and where you can let things go and where you can release the grip. And it was just really funny how I felt like this sort of pressure that I created in my head about releasing an episode this week is exactly the type of thinking that pushes all of us towards a guaranteed state of dissatisfaction and burnout. Why do I say that? I say this because all jobs are created in a way to give or produce a repeatable and reliable level of outcome. And I feel when we become solopreneurs, we don't rely on anyone else. It's fully up to us how we're making money and with what and how consistently and how many days we work during the week. And in my case, at least, I still have this idea that I should work at least 8 hours a day and I should work at least 5 days a week. Otherwise, what am I even doing here? Like, I can't just sit around and find excuses not to work. That sounds so bad. So I always push myself to be busy with doing something related to my business. So this is the irony, I guess, of life, that you're trying to escape something that you feel is unhealthy, yet that's the only pattern you can rely on to produce consistent outcomes. And you stay stuck doing the same. It's just now your own boss and now your own biggest critic, and now you're the one who sees everything. So you cannot really lie to yourself the way you can trick your boss into thinking that you're active on Teams or whatever. So as you can hear and see, I did end up coming in here and recording an episode, but it was after a good couple of hours of reflection, and I feel that this is not an episode that's coming out of pressure. It's more coming out of honoring my own commitments and honoring my commitments to you who are listening, all roughly 15 of you, which I hope you know that if you're here, I am extremely grateful, and you're really making a big difference in a human's life. I feel, we always want to see results and progress over time, but that can make us feel so impatient. And so one of the lessons that I keep regurgitating in my head is that I have to just trust the rhythm of how things unfold in life. And that can be true for this podcast as well, that I promise everyone and myself to be releasing on a bi-weekly basis. I think it's really important that we notice when we have this almost artificial sense of urgency when it comes to our schedules, or when something is really coming from the heart and from within, and try to not override the natural pace of things. So the reason I ended up still making this episode and releasing this episode is because it felt right to keep myself to sort of the publishing frequency, but I'm not going to beat myself up on having an episode that's not related to any of my current content, and that I'm gonna have some sort of lag in between the YouTube videos and the related podcasts, and just appreciate that life has its ways to unfold in beautiful and unexpected ways, that having and sharing that conversation with you, with my guest, feels actually more important to me than sticking to the routine or sticking to the schedule and the structure I originally intended. That was all for this episode. Thank you for listening to me. Have a beautiful day. Bye, everyone.